Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. The federal government says it is not only irrevocably committed to the Change Nigeria enterprise, but also the goal of achieving an inclusive, secure and prosperous Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while receiving in audience a special delegation from Nasarawa State led by Governor Abdullahi Sule. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Nasarawa State and its citizens have always been very dear to me.
Described as his political laboratory, Nasarawa is the only state in Nigeria to elect a governor under the CPC by resisting what the president called all the riggings of the powers that be at that time. Consequently, for keeping faith with his ideals both in good and difficult times, President Buhari said he will never forget their genuine commitment and love.
I am pleased to hear from Your Excellency's remarks that the federal government projects in Nasarawa State are positively impacting on your citizens. I must commend the steadfastness, the commitment, and the enormous hard work of Senator Tanko Al-Mafura, who identified with our project from the word go.
While restating his administration's commitment to the next level agenda for a greater Nigeria, the president, however, said the government cannot do it alone and therefore solicited cooperation and support of the states, local governments, as well as traditional and religious leaders.
Just last week, I emphasized the need to invest in education, primary health care, agriculture, and security as the foundations for sustainable progress. I want to use this forum to again solicit the support of all states to align with those 4 pillars. We must all have a collective vision for sustainable development.
He appreciated Nasarawa elders and leaders for collectively putting aside their political, religious, and ethnic differences in the interest of peace, stability, and development. He used the opportunity to implore all responsible leaders of opinion to help the government in its determination to find lasting solutions to the incessant conflicts between farmers and herders. Governor Abdullahi Sule, who led the delegation, formally thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for, amongst others, the landmark projects in critical sectors of the state's economy, as well as the appointment of Nasarawa indigenes into key government positions. He therefore renewed the goodwill, overwhelming support, cooperation, and loyalty of the people to the governing APC as it implements policies and programs towards Nigeria's next level of development.
We have taken the issue of security very, very seriously. Recently, because we know Mr. President is after the security of this country, so we look at tackling security through agriculture. There is what they call Ruga project by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. So Nasarawa State is one of the few states that are going to start that project, where we are going to employ a lot of people and we are going to separate the herders from the farmers so that they can be in separate areas, for that purpose. Then there are so many intervention funds, mainly for agriculture, to employ the youth and promote agriculture. And we are embracing each one of them. But we are also coming up with a bill where we are involving our traditional rulers, to be part and parcel of security of their various domains.
You can see the smile on the faces of the people of Nasarawa. This is reassuring the president of our commitment and loyalty towards him and his administration, that Nasarawa State will continue to maintain its own security and peace status so that Nigeria can be a good place for all of us.
The Nasarawa delegation, comprising elected and appointed political office holders, first-class traditional rulers, and others that matter in the state, resolved to befittingly immortalize the president at a later date, a proposal the Nigerian leader promised to widely consult for possible consideration. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The ECOWAS Council of Ministers want member states to work towards removing all obstacles militating against effective integration of the West African sub-region. The ministers are meeting in Abuja ahead of the summit of the heads of state this week. Correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
This is the 82nd ordinary session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, which comprises of all foreign affairs ministers of member countries. Among other things, they are considering the 2019 interim report of the ECOWAS, as well as the financial situation of the community. Chairman of the Council and Nigeria's Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman, spoke of the urgent need for the Council to vet all matters militating against rapid integration of the ECOWAS, which will be forwarded to the Council of Heads of State for necessary action.
I urge you to continue in your efforts to improve the effectiveness of all our institutions and prudent management of communities' resources in order to achieve the fundamental goals of our regional integration process.
The members of the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority based in Ghana were also sworn in with a mandate to ensure that ECOWAS citizens get regular power.
The aim is to have a commercial market working with commercial rules that will be sustainable, and we think that in that way the people will have electricity, the best price of electricity.
Investors are looking at the regulators for protection. The consumers are looking at the regulators for protection. So our job is to regulate, to protect the consumers and also protect the investors to ensure that we are fair to. And that is what the investors are looking for.
The Electricity Regulatory Authority hopes to attract investors into the West African power sector. In Abuja, Makut Simon Machan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, federal government's civil service reforms have been rated the best in Africa. This was the 2019 Africa Public Service Day celebration in Nairobi, Kenya, where representatives of all African countries converged to deliberate on how to move their services forward. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports that Nigeria won the Best Exhibition and Pavilion Award.
In the past 2 years since the launch of the Federal Civil Service 2017-2020 Strategy and Implementation Plan, Nigeria has been implementing the 8 priority areas of the plan. As Africa celebrates the value and virtue of public service in Kenya, participating countries at their various exhibition pavilions showcased what they are doing back home towards improving the quality of the service. And when it was time to announce the winner, the green, white, green color took the day.
Nigeria, the best booth. Round of applause. Thank you.
Deep appreciation to His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Oyoita, said the recorded feats in innovation, service delivery, accountability and transparency was as a result of the backup gotten from the Buhari administration.
This is not just because our pavilion was decorative or artistic, but the substance of what we were showcasing to the African continent. The reforms in the area of capacity development, the reforms in the area of accountability through the HR module of IPIS, reforms in application of technology to civil service processes and procedures.
The Africa Public Service Day is part of the United Nations Public Service Day celebration. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
In our two election matters, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has set up a fact-finding committee on the role played by some of its members during the election of the presiding officers of the National Assembly. A statement from the party's National Publicity Secretary says the terms of reference of the committee are to find out why some of the party's members and senators-elect then failed to abide by the decision of the party during the National Assembly leadership election and recommend ways to check that in the future. The committee, chaired by the former President of the Senate, Adolphus Wabara, has 3 weeks to submit its reports. And now to judicial matters, the Bauchi State High Court of Justice has restrained Kau Shehu Damina and Tukur Ibrahim from parading themselves and purporting to act as Speaker and Deputy Speaker Bauchi State House of Assembly. Adamu Haruna Adams reports that this is pending the determination of a motion filed by the plaintiffs.
It is still fresh in the memories of those who know what transpired at the Bauchi State House of Assembly on Thursday, the 28th of June, 2019. To be specific, it was on that day 11 members out of 31 held an inaugural session and elected the member representing Ningi constituency of the state, Abubakar Suleiman, their speaker, and Elami Ahmed Kawule as deputy speaker. Sequel to this development, the rest of the members later converged on premises of the House of Assembly and elected Kawuwa Shehu Damina and Tukuri Ibrahim as their speaker and deputy speaker, respectively. The two scenarios resulted in parallel leadership of the 9th Bauchi State House of Assembly. Following this leadership tussle, Speaker Abubakar Suleiman, his deputy Elami Kawule, and 11 others approached the State High Court through their counsel by way of ex parte motion, urging the court to issue an order restraining the third and fourth defendants, Kawuwa Damina and Tukur Ibrahim, from parading themselves and purporting to act in whatever manner as Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, respectively. The presiding judge, State High Court Number 10, Justice Adamu Kafi Madaki, said in his ruling that the court, having considered the affidavit in support with its exhibit as well as written address which counsel for the plaintiffs adopted as their oral submission, granted the application as prayed. The court adjourned the matter to the 2nd day of July 2019 for hearing of motion on notice. In Bauchi, Adamu Haruna Adams, NTA News.
In still on judicial matters, the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Gudu has discharged and acquitted the former Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power, Dr. Abdullahi Aliyu, and sentenced 5 former directors of Rural Electricity Agency for their culpability in a scam to the tune of more than 5 billion naira. They were arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for criminal breach of trust in awarding contract for grid extension and solar electricity from the amended 2008 budget for the Rural Electricity Agency. The convicted former directors were alleged to have fraudulently facilitated the withdrawal of more than 100 million naira from the account of the agency domiciled at the Central Bank of Nigeria. The first defendant, who was the MD of RIA, was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment with an option of 5 million naira, while the third to sixth defendants, who were the director and assistant director projects, the accountant and head of legal department, were sentenced to 3 years imprisonment with an option of 500,000 naira fine each. The second defendant, Dr. Abdullahi Aliyu's no-case submission, was upheld on appeal and was subsequently discharged and acquitted. This is Nationwide on NTA. Time now to pause from this end as we join Dotun in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Dotun.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to the Center of Excellence. The Fadama 3 Additional Financing Projects Implementation Tax Team has expressed delight at the performance of the Lagos State Fadama projects. The commendation was given after the World Bank and federal government's joint implementation support missions visits to some agricultural projects in Lagos. Tunde Saiki reports.
The main objective of Fadama 3 Additional Financing is to empower host communities for sustainable development. Lagos State was picked for rice production, and users of Fadama along the rice value chain were encouraged to harness the opportunity in the projects. The task mission visit was basically to see achievements made through Fadama in Ekpe and Ibejuleki local government areas of the state. At Ise community in Ibejuleki, where rice cluster project is operational, the team inspected the 4.7 kilometers road constructed in the community.
We've been able to touch the lives of our farmers in this land, not only in terms of what they do on their farm, in terms of access road, in terms of processing equipment, and there is still a lot more ground to be covered.
The yield that they used to have before used to be less than 1 ton, but as of now, the yield per hectare in this land, as a result of intervention of Fadama, has increased to about 3.5 tons per hectare.
The traditional ruler of Ishe community, Oba Abduganu Adigbeson, thanked the Fadama tax team for the development in the community through the Fadama infrastructure provisions. In appreciation, he conferred the title Bobashelu of Ishe Kingdom on the tax team leader, Dr. Adetunji Oredikpe. The Fadama Beneficiaries Association at Ise was also inaugurated. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Environment has tasked industries operating within the country to devise technology that will minimize the environmental impact of their operations on their host communities. Officials of the ministry gave the charge at a review meeting on the environmental impact assessment of the operations of tank farms at Ijegun Egba and Satellite Town in Lagos State. Michael Olaleye reports that the concerned communities still want these facilities relocated.
It is easier for a thread to pass through the eye of a needle than to navigate Satellite Town routes. This is due to the activities of 12 tank farms, which operations have negatively affected the environment and source of livelihood of the people.
When these people come, no fish, no anything, you have to go Badagry side.
While residents are still struggling to live with this reality, another bulk petroleum products depot is springing up, occupying over 2 hectares of land at the shore of the Basa Ijegun Egba end of the lagoon.
Looking at the EIA process as well as the baseline study, waste management was left out.
This meeting by the Federal Ministry of Environment is to assess the environmental impact of having such a project in a locality already constrained.
Every stakeholder that the project is going to be affected with, the law is promulgated such a way it takes care of everybody and it will be a win-win situation.
Although the facility intends to improve storage to meet the country's demand and create economic opportunities, residents of these communities believe this will increase hardship.
We are saying that they should give them a time limit for them to quit out, to be relocated out of Ijegun Egba Satellite Town.
The review meeting is expected to make recommendations to the federal government on ways of reducing the environmental impact of tank farms operations. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
The Nigerian Army 243 Battalion Iberego Barracks, Badagry, have emerged the winner of this year's 81 Division Inter-Brigade competition for warrant officers and senior non-commissioned officers. Abalore Ogbara reports that participants demonstrated skills acquired during training for combat readiness.
The 81 Division Inter-Brigade competition for warrant officers and senior non-commissioned officers was designed in line with the vision of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, to have a professionally responsive Nigerian Army. The Chief of Army Staff, who was represented by Director of Peacekeeping Operation, Major General Godwin Umelo, said, the essence of the competition is to test leadership traits, organizational abilities, use of initiative, and promote esprit de corps among personnel.
It is an extension of practical training in the field and one of the numerous efforts to reprofessionalize the Nigerian Army. The exercise has exposed their level of combat readiness and also provided us the opportunity to address observed shortcomings by embarking on more training.
The warrant officers and senior non-commissioned officers participated in various competitions like the weapon handling and live firing, 2.4 kilometers endurance race, map reading, communication, combat swimming, and physical fitness through the obstacle crossing. In Lagos, Abolore Ogbara, NT News.
Let's now take a commercial break. Nationwide continues shortly.
Enjoy the best of African football as NTA, Africa's largest television network and hotspots, Nigeria's foremost sports production and marketing company, bring you all 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019 live from June 21 to July 19, 2019. Yes, all 52 games will hit your screens in crystal clear digital quality. It's your guarantee of a memorable viewing experience and a wonderful cost-effective opportunity for corporate Nigeria to reach tens of millions of Nigerians. For sponsorship and commercial support, contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. Hot Sports, masters of the game. NTA, you can't beat the reach.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
One football confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Nigeria's premier sports production and marketing group, Hot Sports, partners with the biggest, the largest, and the #1 television network in Africa, the NTA, to give Nigerians a memorable viewing experience. Boost fan support for the Super Eagles to glory in Egypt. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
There were many of the Southwest leadership who were there, welcoming Abacha.
Ambassador Babagana Kingibe finally opens up on June 12. The annulment, the intrigues, the maneuvers.
By then, the leadership of the SDP, they all were very enthusiastic to uphold the annulment.
June 12, the untold story. Coming soon on NTA Network.
Thanks for staying with us. And now to health. Building a resilient health system in Africa towards accelerating and sustaining universal health coverage informed the meeting of World Health Organization's country representatives in Nigeria. Basi Itaikpan reports that the focus is on value for money.
Value for money in the health sector is about maximizing the impact of resources spent to improve people's lives. It is also about prioritizing interventions in the health sector towards maximum profit.
It will give a greater view of accountability of the African region.
The meeting is therefore part of strategies for implementing the 13th General Program to encapsulate the WHO reform agenda and African region transformation agenda towards universal health coverage.
In order for us to continue the trust that our member states and the donors have invested in us, we need to communicate and demonstrate and then document how we value the contributions, the trust that they give on us.
Nigeria, participants noted, is on the right track with a number of health financing reforms put in place by the federal government to sharpen the trajectory of the nation's universal health coverage aspirations and the sustainable development goals.
In terms of planning, how do you take into account the element of WHO programs be effective, be efficient? How do we get value for money?
The government of Nigeria is currently investing additional domestic resources amounting to over $180 million annually. And this will be in perpetuity, as is now a legal issue.
WHO country representatives from 44 African countries are gathered here to renew commitments and better management of resources towards achieving universal health coverage. Basi Taiba, NTA News.
On health, over the years, UNAIDS has been coming up with strategies and targets that will bring an end to HIV and AIDS in the world. Meanwhile, not all countries are intensifying efforts in their national response on HIV and AIDS. National Agency for the Control of AIDS is celebrating some individuals in Nigeria that the United States President's emergency plan for AIDS relief recently honored as heroes. This is due to their roles in driving the national response. Chimdima Ndubisi reports.
Lucy Enya has been living with HIV for more than 22 years, giving it a human face and becoming an advocate for rights and social inclusion of persons living with the virus in those days when most were in hiding. Today, she's among the 16 heroes honored by the United States President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, for their passion and commitment in the fight against HIV and AIDS, a program that ensures 80% of the more than 1 million people with the disease in Nigeria get free treatment.
Right now we have a shelter in Lagos that will provide shelter for less privileged women that suffer from stigma and discrimination as a result of HIV.
For Alban, his passion to see a country free of the scourge made him take his advocacy to high-risk groups, but not without some challenges.
I've been working for sex workers for 19 years now, going out in the night where people have fun, we do HIV tests, talk to people, distribute commodities.
Taking it further, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, in celebrating these outstanding individuals, is committing to do more in providing life-saving treatment for this group.
Working even harder to make sure that we stop having new HIV infections, we stop people from dying unnecessarily from a preventable disease such as HIV, and we also stop babies from being born with this infection.
One factor identified as key in this achievement is strategic partnership among the federal government, private sector and civil society organizations. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
And we are not done with health yet. Tackling drug abuse among the youths in Nigeria requires a multidimensional approach that will rechannel their energies to positive attributes. An initiative that utilizes mathematics as a tool has kick-started in Abuja. Ngozi Silva Technicio reports.
Mesama Nwosu is one among many pupils and students who at one time or another disliked the word mathematics as a subject, a syndrome common among students, even at tertiary level. Today, her view is changing as she works confidently to join her peers from other schools to compete in mathematics. She is participating in a program whose objective is to equip students to stand against the pressure to indulge in drug abuse and illicit trafficking using the principles of mathematics.
There was a little period of time that I stopped liking it because of the teacher that was teaching me at that time. But then when I went to the next class, I started liking it again.
I feel that if they can channel that addiction from drug abuse to mathematics, it can help reduce the rates of drug abusers in Nigeria.
Organizers hope that the inter-school mathematics competition, which is in commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse, organized by a non-governmental organization, will drive home the message.
For them to think of the things they can add to themselves, to their character, to nation building and to growth, rather than the things addiction takes away from them.
9 secondary schools in Abuja participated in the mathematics competition, which saw the Federal Government Boys Secondary School, Abuja, clinching the 4th position, while the Government Secondary School and Kings Valley College, all in the FCT, took 2nd and 4th positions respectively. It is expected that the consequences associated with drug abuse on youths and the society will be a thing of the past when everyone seated here takes the message beyond this forum. In Abuja, Ngozi Silva Technico, NTA News.
Time now to link up with Zulai in our Kaduna studio for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Zulai.
Elizabeth, good evening and welcome to Kaduna. Nigeria is recording significant decrease in cases of examination malpractice with the introduction of new rules guiding proper conduct and standardization of the process. Registrar and Chief Executive of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishak Oloyede, stated this while presenting convocation lecture at the Federal University, Dutse, Jigawa State. Hawa Haliru Haruna has details.
The title of the lecture is towards repositioning the conduct and management of sub-regional examinations for Nigeria's educational development. Professor Oloride noted that with the repositioning of JAMB, challenges associated with the pencil and paper test method have been overcome. This, according to the JAMB registrar, resulted to decrease in the examination malpractice from 50,000 in 2010 to about 10,000 in 2018.
The pain of education in Nigeria today is that it is being narrowed down to literacy. The emphasis is only in mental components. The memorization of usually ill-digested chunks of facts for the purpose of passing examination and earning certificates.
Representing President Muhammad Buhari, the Executive Secretary of the NUC, Professor Abubakar Rashid, commended the university for setting the pace among the newly established universities.
Our universities must be prepared to serve as veritable centers for the promotion of democracy and good governance in our country.
A total of 558 graduates were at the ceremony. In Dutse, Hawa Haliru Haruna, NTA News.
Women and their children are always at the receiving end in the event of insecurity and other social crises. To minimize the effect on women and challenge them to remain in the forefront in propagating Islam, Women in Dawa Annual Conference made it a priority to sensitize the women in defeating insurgency and surviving its consequences. Amina Saidu reports.
Quran recitation marking the formal opening of the 14th Conference of Women in Dawa, attended by its members from different parts of the country. Topical issues such as the need to reconnect with the Creator, institutionalizing zakat, which is almsgiving, waqf, the Islamic social safety net, and tackling the al-Majri phenomenon dominated discussions at the conference.
With all the banditry, kidnappings, and everything that is happening, we felt there's a missing link between the Muslim and what he's doing.
This will now send a message to all the people of the world, not only Muslims, that Islam is a religion of life.
The First Lady Hajia Aisha Muhammad Buhari was represented by the wife of the Governor of Kaduna State, Hajia Hadiza Ismail Rufai. With the theme, believers enter wholly into Islam and do not follow in the footsteps of Shaitan, for he is an open enemy. Kaduna State Deputy Governor Dr. Hadiza Balarabe and other participants say the conference was apt and highlights all that needs to be done in uniting and strengthening the Ummah. In Kaduna, Amina Saidu, NTA News.
Chairperson of Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association 1 Division Kaduna, Salamatu Faruk Yahya, has challenged the beneficiaries of tailoring and catering services to judiciously utilize the Skills Acquisition Center inaugurated at 3 Brigade Kano. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
The Skills Acquisition Center was conceptualized 3 years ago and now upgraded to accommodate Army officers' wives to engage in small-scale businesses. The center has the capacity to engage 10 people at a time and strengthen their skills for effectiveness. While inaugurating the center, one of the General Officer commanding 1 Division and Chairperson, Salamatu Yahya, urged the Army officers' wives to take advantage of the center in helping their loved ones through tailoring, catering, among others.
The empowerment of women and children within the Barra community and Nigeria at large. So skills acquisition is something we encourage nationwide. We are encouraging our children to embrace entrepreneurial skills, which is one of the core objectives of NAUA.
The chairperson was also at the officers' mess, where she interacted with widows and extended helping hands to them. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And that's our beat from Kaduna. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more and nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Zulay. Now, in continuation of the African Cup of Nations AFCON going on in Egypt, Network News at 9 will come up at 11 o'clock tonight. Meanwhile, Kano State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has intensified efforts to contain drug-related offences in the state. The command has seized more than 6,000 kilograms of illicit drugs. Fatima Sanosi reports that the agency also arrested 725 suspects of various drug-related offences.
Seizure include cannabis sativa, 3.2 tons, psychotropic substance, 3.3 tons, cat, 150 kilograms, cocaine, 3.91 kilograms, heroin, 29.3 grams. The command has also arrested 725 suspects alleged to have been engaged in drug abuse, where 47 were convicted, while over 500 suspects were referred to brief intervention and counseling.
Seizure of more than 6.7 tons of different drugs and psychotropic substances, a feat that has never been recorded within a short period of time like that since the inception of this command.
As the world marks International Day Against Drug Abuse, the command said statistics showed appreciable decline in both demand and supply of drugs in the state, where he said the NDLEA Kano Command has taken a new approach in the fight against drug abuse, where an operation team, tagged Operation Sharamia Gungwayoyi, is constituted to rid the state from illicit activities. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garai, NTA News.
Now to water and sanitation, there are indications that Plateau State will soon enjoy more foreign intervention in the area of water and sanitation. A team from the World Bank on an assessment visit to the state came face to face with the challenges on ground, even as it commends the state government for the achievements so far recorded in the sector. Caleb Gochin reports.
Water, sanitation and hygiene inarguably play an all-important role in human development, hence the attention being given it by both local and international concerns. The visit by the World Bank team revealed much as the briefings by major stakeholders and a visit to some existing water and sanitation facilities showed that the Plateau State government is fully keen into the project for the good of its people.
I'm optimistic that Plateau State will be a very good contender.
This facility is located at Logom and Quikamp in Riom local government area, where projects the World Bank team described as impressive.
We at the World Bank are very committed with this agenda. We are hoping to keep supporting Nigeria, broadly speaking, and hopefully Plateau over here. With the structures in place, I think we are going far, and we are still soliciting for support from the World Bank, because this is the first time World Bank is coming to the rural sector.
The team is optimistic that with additional intervention, the people will be better off, as many of the diseases rampaging most communities will be checked.
People will not run away from this community because of water. Because when they brought that bulls in this community, we stopped fetching water from the riverside.
These efforts, the WASH officials say, are coming on the heels of renewed commitment of Governor Simon Lalong to ensure that the state is moving along with President Buhari's WASH declaration of November 2018. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
And still on sanitation, Bauchi State Government has introduced an environmental sanitation program tagged Keep Bauchi Clean, targeted at curtailing indiscriminate dumping of refuse. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that Governor Bala Mohammed joined hundreds of Bauchi residents for formal launch of the program.
With heaps of refuse in different locations and drainages filled with dumps, thereby posing a huge environmental risk. Residents are, however, not mindful of the unhealthy surrounding as they move freely carrying out their activities. Despite many environmental challenges, there are numerous health implications. Worried by the situation, Governor Bala Mohammed introduced a sanitation program that involves all ministries, departments and agencies of government in the state. However, in order to match his words with action, Governor Bala Muhammad came out in rain boots and hang gloves in company of the Emir of Bauchi for the official launch of the sanitation program.
We have brought good governance to bear on the cleanliness of the city, to make it serene and good, and to make sure we inculcate the culture of corporate social responsibility, and we will make sure it is spread to all the local government areas, not only in Bauchi.
He therefore called on residents to make sanitation a way of life. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
For more reports on Nationwide, let's now join Asmao in Sokoto. Hello, Asmao.
Elizabeth, good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. The Nigerian police under the Operation Puff Adder is putting new strategies that will involve community policing over the lingering banditry and kidnapping. DIG Operations Abdulmajid Ali stated this in an interactive session with police officers and other stakeholders on security in Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
The interactive session with the Deputy Inspector General of Operations had in attendance officers and men of the Nigerian Police, representatives of Metia Allah Cattle Breeders Association, and the Police Community Relations Committee. The Deputy Inspector General of Police took time to brief the participants on the new strategies put in place to fight banditry and kidnapping in the country.
We know in Sokoto here we have this problem of banditry in the inside area, local government area, which we also working on. And sooner or later, we'll come out with a new strategy to fight this banditry and stop this kidnapping to a standstill.
AIG Zone 10, Muhammad Alhaji Al-Mustafa, described the lingering crime rate within the zone as worrisome, assuring that with the new strategies adopted, it will be a thing of the past. Other stakeholders called for reshuffle of officers for effective service delivery, identification of informers of the bandits, conduct of proper investigation on people with serious crime offenses, and more synergy among stakeholders. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
Zamfara State Fertilizer Production Company Gusau has resumed production 13 years after the suspension of its operation. Governor Bello Muhammad promised to revive the company as part of effort to boost agricultural production in the state. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The Zamfara State Fertilizer Company Gusau formally commenced operation in 1999 with the mandate of producing the commodity in commercial quantity to meet the demands of farmers in the state and beyond. The company was reputable for the production of NPK fertilizers, popularly known as Dan Zamfara. It, however, suspended production since 2006, ostensibly due to lack of commitment from the government, the problem which the state governor Alhaji Bello Muhammad pledged to face squarely shortly after he was inaugurated.
He gave us 10 million, and then you can see now we have already commenced production.
The managing director of the company congratulated farmers in the state on this development.
We are producing at the rate of 20 tons per hour for now. The capacity is 35 tons per hour. We are gradually picking up to that level.
Well, if the fertilizer company is made to produce to its full capacity, it will not only meet the requirements of farmers in Zamfara State, but it will also produce for our teeming farmers in the neighboring states. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's it from here. The news will continue with Elizabeth in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Now to livestock matters. The federal government has commenced the implementation of Ruga, a new program designed to address incessant movement of livestock for pasture. This is coming as the Food and Agriculture Organization plans to work with the government towards checking abuses of antibiotics in livestock production. Musa Babali reports.
Ruga is the name of Fulani settlements, especially for those who are not on transit. This is how the Ruga looks like. It consists of residential area, barnyard, as well as grazing and water drinking points. And this is the kind of structure the federal government is erecting in 6 states as pilot project, which is expected to serve as panacea to ending farmers' hardest conflicts.
We develop a settlement for them. We provide water for their animals. We provide pasture. We provide schools for their children. We provide security.
Concerning abuses of antibiotics in animals, the United Nations is worried over its side effects on human beings.
It is estimated that about 50 million Africans will die for antimicrobial resistance due to lack of treatment successes in hospitals, because people have overused and misused the antibiotics.
To this end, the Food and Agriculture Organization brought together these agriculturists across West Africa to develop a strategy to check usage of drugs in animals.
In some farms, antibiotics are just given to the animals without them being sick. It's not normal because it's a multi-sectoral combat, and come out with strategy that will be applicable to West Africa.
And also importantly for the farmers to observe biosecurity, to take biosecurity measures so that the need to use antibiotics is cut down. Once you have less of disease, you use less of antibiotics.
The federal government says the new strategy will provide a boost to its 2017 plans on production, distribution and marketing of drugs for livestock. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. More reports ahead when we return. Stay with us.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to religious matters. Nigerian pilgrims to the land of Israel continued their spiritual exercise with a visit to the Shepherd's Fields, where the shepherds from the east saw the Star of Nativity. Nativity in Hebrew language means a place of birth. Daily Atsumbi reports.
This is Beit Shahor, also known as the Shepherd's Field, where the angel appeared to the shepherds, proclaiming the birth of Jesus Christ. The Shepherd Field, which is considered to be fertile one, is located in the east of Bethlehem in the state of Palestine. Notable biblical events are believed to have happened in the Shepherd's Fields. The first event, which is in the Old Testament, precisely in the book of Ruth, is the Boaz Field, where Ruth and Boaz met an event that led to their marriage. The New Testament account is that on the same field, the shepherd saw the star of Jesus Christ proclaiming his birth and later traced him to the manger where they offered him gifts. As the shepherd visited the manger, so also pilgrims from Nigeria, having seen the shepherd's field, visited the manger.
It makes alive the Bible. It puts the Bible in a new perspective and helps us to deepen our understanding of what the Bible says as we locate sites, even if they are just presumed sites.
I feel fulfilled. I feel marveled. At the time we were at the manger, I was trying to memorize the things I've seen in the Bible, and I'm seeing reality.
And it makes my Christianity to be a thing of reality to me.
The replica of the upper room where Jesus had the Last Supper with his disciples, and the dungeon where Jesus spent his last 6 hours in the house of the chief priest before being handed over to Pontius Pilate for trial and crucifixion are places to behold for the Nigerian pilgrims, though with sober reflections. From Jerusalem, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
To sports now, Moshood Abiola Stadium comes alive with athletes. Federation of Nigeria National Trials open. Tamara Ebiwe has details.
Ahead of the 2019 All-Africa Games built for Morocco this August, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has organized national trials at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. About 1,200 athletes from all over the country are right here at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, for these trials.
We have a very good attendance, and we're expecting more performances. Actually, we hope personal bests and possibly national bests will be gotten in this event.
This is a way of testing the performance so far of the athletes and selecting those that will get into camp.
These athletes are hoping that at the end of the national trials, they will be able to make the cut. And still on athletics, Lamin Diak, former president of the International Association of Athletics Federations, is to go on trial in France following investigations into corruption and money laundering. The former French long jump champion, along with others, stand accused of collecting bribes to cover up positive drug tests by Russian athletes and also in the award of hosting rights. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
And the remains of the former general manager of the Nigerian Television Authority, Katsina, Malam Abubakar Ahmed, has been laid to rest. Malam Ahmed died 61 after a protracted illness. Our Salis reports that the deceased was director news in NTA before his retirement in 2017.
The funeral prayer of late Abubakar Ahmed was led by Malam Makachi at his residence in Kondila Quarters in Kano Metropolis. His remains were laid to rest at the Taroni Cemetery amidst prayers for the repose of his soul. Born 61 years ago in Daura Town, Katsina State, a graduate of Bayero University, Kano, late Abubakar Ahmed joined the services of the Nigerian Television Authority in 1981 as reporter and rose to the rank of director news before his retirement in 2016. The late Ahmed has been described as unassuming and straightforward.
It's a great loss. He's very quiet, very religious.
Gentleman, very kind, nice, hard working.
He left behind a wife and 5 children. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Now, before we go, a quick look at the weather prospect. And that's a wrap on Nationwide today. Many thanks for watching. A quick reminder that the network news will come up at 11 after the AFCON match between Ghana and the Republic of Benin. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good evening.